Welcome back, tennis fans, to another massive breaking update right here on the channel. We have some absolutely incredible, fast-moving, and high-stakes news concerning none other than the pride of the Philippines, the 21-year-old tennis sensation, Alex Eala. If you've been following her journey, you know that we are standing at the absolute precipice of tennis history for her and for her country. The news we are breaking down today revolves around the most prestigious, the most historic, and arguably the most high-pressure tennis tournament in the entire world. I am, of course, talking about the championships. Wimbledon, the pristine grass courts of the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club are calling, and the latest updates regarding Alex Eala's seeding, her main draw status, and her unbelievable run over the last 2 weeks have sent shockwaves through the tennis community. This is the good news you've been waiting for, the fast update you need, and we are going to tear into every single detail of what this means for her career. But before we get to the granular details, let us set the stage and truly understand the magnitude of what is happening right now in the month of June 2026. To comprehend the gravity of this update, you have to understand what Wimbledon represents. It is not just another tournament. It is the holy grail of tennis. It is the oldest tennis tournament in the world, and it is the only major still played on traditional grass, the sport's original surface. For a player like Alex Eala, who has spent years grinding on hard courts and clay, adapting to the slick, fast, and often unpredictable nature grass is a monumental challenge. The ball stays low, the rallies are shorter, and a player's serve and return game must be absolutely immaculate. And yet, this young Filipina star is not just adapting to the grass, she is conquering it. We are talking about a player who has just claimed her first ever grass court professional title, reigning supreme at the WTA 125 Lexus Birmingham Open just days ago. That victory was a statement. It was a declaration to the entire Women's Tennis Association Tour that Alex Eala has arrived, and she is a force to be reckoned with on the lawns of England. But winning a tournament is only one piece of the massive puzzle that we are unpacking today. The real story, the absolute crux of this update, revolves around two highly technical but utterly crucial words in the world of professional tennis: the seeding. Getting into the main draw of a Grand Slam is a massive achievement in itself. It means you are among the top 128 women in the world competing for the ultimate prize. But getting seeded, that is a completely different echelon of elite status. In a Grand Slam, the top 32 ranked players are given a seed. Why is this so important? Why is every single point Eala earns right now scrutinized by analysts and fans alike? Because if you are seeded, the mathematical structure of the tournament protects you. A seeded player is guaranteed not to face another seeded player in the first 2 rounds of the tournament. That means if Alex Eala can secure that coveted seed, she avoids the absolute titans of the sport right out of the gate. She avoids world number 1 Iga Swiatek. She avoids world number 2 Elena Rybakina. She avoids Aryna Sabalenka and Coco Gauff. Instead, she gets drawn against lower-ranked players, wild cards, or qualifiers. A seed is essentially a golden ticket to a deeper run in the tournament, securing more prize money, massive ranking points, and global exposure. Right now, Alex Eala is sitting around world number 33, hovering right on the absolute razor's edge of that top 32 cutoff. She currently has around 1,422 ranking points. But the tennis ranking system is a cruel and unforgiving beast. It operates on a rolling 52-week cycle. That means you do not just earn points. You have to defend the points you earned exactly 1 year ago. And this is where the drama reaches a fever pitch. Last year, Alex Eala had a phenomenal run to the final of the Eastbourne Open. That run earned her 163 ranking points. But those points are scheduled to drop off her record on June 22nd, which just so happens to be the exact cutoff date for the Wimbledon seeding calculations. This creates a terrifying and thrilling scenario. If Eala does not generate enough new points right now, in these crucial weeks leading up to June 22nd, she will lose those 163 points, plummet down the rankings, and lose her chance of being seeded for Wimbledon 2026. This is the ultimate race against time. Every match, every set, every single game she plays on the grass courts of Europe right now is fraught with unimaginable pressure. And how has she responded to this pressure? by playing some of the best tennis of her life. Let's talk about that Birmingham Open victory, because it is a foundation of this incredible good news. Eala marched into Birmingham with the weight of her seeding hopes on her shoulders and delivered a masterclass. She defeated Czech teenager Nikola Bardankova in an absolute thriller of a final, battling back after dropping the first set to win 5-7, 6-3, 7-5. By lifting that trophy, Eala etched her name into a historic list of Birmingham champions, a list that includes absolute legends of the game like Billie Jean King, Martina Navratilova, Maria Sharapova, and Petra Kvitova. To even be mentioned in the same breath as those icons is a testament to Eala's skyrocketing trajectory. But she did not stop there. There was no time to celebrate. The very next day, she traveled 118 miles down to London to compete in the highly prestigious WTA 500 Queens Club Championships. Fighting through undeniable fatigue, she stepped on a court against 37-year-old Chinese veteran Zhang Shuai and put on a clinic, winning in straight sets 6-3, 6-2. That victory temporarily boosted her live ranking and kept the Wimbledon seeding dream alive and well. However, the journey has not been without its setbacks, which only adds to the intense drama of her current situation. In the second round at Queen's Club, Eala faced a brutal rematch against 18-year-old American prodigy Iva Jovic. This was a revenge match for Eala, as Jovic had knocked her out in the first round of the French Open just weeks prior. Unfortunately, the grueling schedule caught up with our Filipina star. Despite a valiant effort, Eala fell to Jovic 6-2, 6-2, committing 19 unforced errors to Jovic's 9. That loss was a painful stumble, but in the relentless world of professional tennis, there is no time to mourn. Which brings us to the most urgent, breaking aspect of today's update. Because of that loss at Queen's Club, Eala's quest for the Wimbledon seed now comes down to an absolute do-or-die scenario at the WTA 500 Berlin Tennis Open, which is kicking off right now. She is entering Berlin as a qualifier, and the draw has done her absolutely no favors. She is set to face the fiercely experienced Donna Vekic in the opening round, and if she manages to survive Vekic, her reward? A potential second-round showdown with the current world number 2 and former Wimbledon champion, Elena Rybakina. The stakes have never been higher. The path has never been more difficult. But Alex Eala has proven time and time again that she thrives when her back is against the wall. This brings us to the main body of our deep dive analysis today. To truly appreciate what Alex Eala is attempting to accomplish over these next few weeks, we need to break down the anatomical structure of her game on grass, dissect her recent performances, and analyze exactly what she needs to do to overcome Vekic, challenge Rybakina, and secure that life-changing Wimbledon seed. When we look at Eala's performance at the Birmingham Open, we see a player who is rapidly maturing. Grass court tennis requires a delicate balance of aggressive baseline striking and nimble footwork. You cannot slide on grass the way you do on clay. You have to take tiny, precise adjustment steps to get underneath a ball that barely bounces above your ankles. Eala's opening match in Birmingham against Australia's Priscilla Hahn was a showcase of this adaptation. She dismantled Hahn in just 59 minutes with a blistering 6-love, 6-2 scoreline. She followed that up by grinding out wins against Elena Rybakina and Maninkaya Sawanki. But the true test of her mettle came in the semi-final against Switzerland's Rebecca Mazarova. Mazarova is a powerful player who thrives on fast surfaces, and when Eala dropped the second set 4-6, many wondered if the Filipina's grass court campaign was about to stall. But Eala recalibrated. She found her first serve. She stepped inside the baseline to take the ball early, and she closed out the decider 6-3. That mental resilience was on full display in the Birmingham final against Bardankova. Bardankova is a rising star in her own right, and when she snatched the first set 7-5, the momentum was completely on the side of the Czech player. In years past, a younger Alex Eala might have let that disappointment spiral. But the 21-year-old version of Eala is a tactical thinker. Analysts have noted that while Eala's baseline game is explosive, her forehand down the line is a legitimate weapon on the WTA Tour. Her serve has sometimes been identified as a glaring weakness that needs improvement if she wants to solidify herself in the top 50. On grass, a weak serve is a death sentence. The surface rewards big servers because the ball skids off the turf, making it incredibly difficult to return. In that final, Eala made the conscious adjustment to focus on placement over pure power, utilizing the slice serve out wide to pull Bartonkova off the court, opening up the space for easy put-away forehands. It was a masterstroke of in-game adjustments, allowing her to take the next two sets 6-3, 7-5, and hoist the trophy. But as we transition our analysis to her performance at the Queen's Club Championships, we see the physical and mental toll that winning a title can take on a player. The turnaround from Sunday evening in Birmingham to Tuesday evening in London is brutal. When Eala stepped onto the court against Zhang Shuai, she was running on pure adrenaline. Her straight sets victory was commendable, but the underlying statistics told a story of a player whose tank was nearing empty. Against Iva Jovic in next round, that fatigue was thoroughly exposed. Jovic, fully rested and highly motivated, imposed her will from the very first game. The young American broke Eala immediately, showcasing a ruthless efficiency on her first serve. Jovic won the match 6-2, 6-2, compiling 26 winners against only 9 unforced errors. In stark contrast, Eala struggled to find her rhythm, tallying 19 unforced errors and winning only a fraction of points on her second serve. The loss to Jovic was a harsh reality check. It highlighted the relentless physicality required to compete week in and week out on the WTA Tour. You cannot afford to have an off day, especially during a grass court swing where margins for error are microscopically thin. Now, let us turn our analytical lens to the immediate future, the Berlin Tennis Open. This is a crucible where Alex Eala's Wimbledon seeding dreams will either be forged into reality or shattered. Entering the tournament as a qualifier adds an extra layer of difficulty, as she had to fight through preliminary matches just to earn a spot in the main draw. And her first-round opponent, Donna Vekic, is an absolute powerhouse. Vekic is 29 years old, massively experienced, and possesses a devastating flat backhand that penetrates the grass courts beautifully. Interestingly, Eala and Vekic have history. They faced off earlier this year in January at the ASB Classic in New Zealand, where Eala orchestrated a magnificent comeback to win 4-6, 6-4, 6-4. That victory will undoubtedly give Eala a psychological edge. She knows she can beat Vekic. She knows she has the tactical blueprint to dismantle the Croatian's game. But doing it on hard courts in January is very different from doing on the slick grass of Berlin in June, especially with the looming pressure of ranking points hanging over her head. If Eala can channel the magic of her Birmingham run, if she can clean up the unforced errors that plague her against Jovic, and if she can utilize her Supreme Court coverage to neutralize Vekic's power, she has a very real chance of advancing. And if she does advance, we are looking at a titanic clash against the world number 2, Elena Rybakina. Rybakina is the ultimate final boss on a grass court. She won Wimbledon in 2022. Her serve is routinely clocked at over 120 miles per hour. Her ground strokes are flat, heavy, and punishing. Facing Rybakina is the ultimate test of where Alex Eala currently stands in the hierarchy of women's tennis. But here is the beautiful reality of the situation. Eala does not necessarily need to beat Rybakina to secure her Wimbledon seed. What she needs are the ranking points accumulated from a deep run. A victory over Vekic in the first round of the WTA 500 event yields a significant points bounty. If she can string together just a couple wins in Berlin, she can offset the impending drop of her Eastbourne points from last year. It is a mathematical tightrope walk, and she is performing it in front of the entire world. The psychological aspect of the scenario cannot be overstated. Imagine being 21 years old, carrying the sporting hopes of an entire nation of over 100 million people. Every time Alex Eala steps onto the court, she is not just playing for herself. She is playing for Philippines. During her trophy presentation in Birmingham, she took the microphone and spoke directly to the massive crowd of Filipino supporters who had braved the cold and windy English weather to cheer her on. She said, "Home is a people and not a place. Kaya mga kababayan, maraming salamat sa suporta." That profound statement reveals the deep emotional well she draws from. The support of the Filipino people is her ultimate weapon, a shield against the intense isolation of professional tennis tour. But that support also brings immense expectations. The fans want to see her in the main draw of Wimbledon. They want to see her seeded. They want to see her making deep runs in Grand Slams. Managing those expectations, filtering out the noise, and focusing purely on the tennis ball is perhaps the most impressive skill Eala has developed over the past year. Furthermore, we have to look at the broader landscape of the WTA Tour right now to understand how truly remarkable Eala's rise is. The women's game is currently dominated by a fiercely competitive top tier. Swiatek is practically unbeatable on clay. Sabalenka and Rybakina bring overwhelming power. Goff brings unparalleled athleticism. For a player of Eala's physical stature, she is not the tallest or the most powerfully built player on tour. She has to rely on supreme tennis IQ, flawless technique, and unmatched grit. She is part of a new generation of tactical counterpunchers who are proving that tennis is not just a game of brute force. It is a game of angles, spin, and mental fortitude. Her success is a beacon of inspiration for aspiring tennis players across Asia, proving that with the right work ethic, the right coaching, and an unbreakable spirit, it is possible to crash the gates of the tennis elite. As we wrap up our deep dive analysis and move toward the final thoughts on this incredible developing story, we must confront the reality of the timeline. The clock is ticking relentlessly toward that June 22nd cutoff. The matches in Berlin over the next few days will define the trajectory of Alex Eala's summer. Whether she secures a seed or falls just short, the fact that she is even in this conversation is a monumental victory. It signals a paradigm shift in her career. She is no longer just a promising junior player or a rising prospect. She is a legitimate, battle-tested professional who is demanding respect on the biggest stages the sport has to offer. This brings us to the final chapter of our exhaustive coverage today, as we look at the ultimate implications of Alex Eala's phenomenal grass court season, the raw emotions of her journey, and what lies ahead as the shadow of Wimbledon looms large over the tennis world. It is crucial to take a step back and appreciate the sheer magnitude of what this 21-year-old Filipina is accomplishing on the global stage. For decades, the narrative of professional tennis has been heavily concentrated in Europe and North America. The infrastructure, the funding, the proximity to major tournaments, all of these factors have historically created massive barriers for athletes coming from Southeast Asia. Yet, here is Alexandra Eala defying the odds, breaking down the barriers, and rewriting the script entirely. When she stood on that podium in Birmingham, hoisting her second WTA 125 trophy, she wasn't just celebrating a personal milestone. She was lifting an entire region into the tennis spotlight. The fact that she is now agonizingly close to securing a seated position at Wimbledon is nothing short of a sporting miracle, a testament to years of grueling sacrifice, endless travel, and an unyielding belief in her own potential. Let us reiterate just how massive a Wimbledon seed is. We talked about avoiding the top players in the early rounds, but the psychological benefit of seeing your name on the draw sheet with a number next to it is immeasurable. It validates your presence. It tells your opponents in the locker room that you are not just a participant. You are a threat. If Eala manages to perform well in Berlin and secure that top 32 ranking before the June 22nd cutoff, she will walk to the gates of the All-England Club with an aura of undeniable authority. She will command the respect of the tournament organizers, guaranteeing her matches on larger show courts, which in turn brings larger crowds and massive international television coverage. This is how a tennis player transitions from a known commodity within the sport to transcendent global superstar. And even if the math does not go her way, even if she drops those Eastbourne points and enters Wimbledon unseeded, her recent form guarantees that she will be the most dangerous unseeded floater in the entire draw. Absolutely no one, not even the top 10 players in the world, will want to see Alex Eala's name next to theirs in the first round. Think about the sheer resilience she has demonstrated over the past few weeks. From the red clay of the French Open, where she suffered a bitter first-round defeat, to the lush green lawns of Birmingham, where she tasted ultimate victory, the emotional whiplash is enough to break a lesser athlete. But Eala has shown a remarkable ability to compartmentalize. When she lost to Jovic in Paris, she didn't dwell on it. She got back to work, transitioned her footwork to the grass, and immediately found success. When she faced Jovic again at Queen's Club and suffered another defeat, her post-match demeanor wasn't one of defeatism. It was one of calculation. She knows exactly what went wrong. She knows that her first serve percentage dropped. She knows her unforced error count was too high. and you can guarantee that her coaching team has spent every waking hour since that loss drilling those specific mechanics. This constant state of evolution is what separates the good players from the great ones. Eala is not a finished product. She is a masterpiece in progress, constantly refining her weapons and fortifying her defenses. As we look ahead to her upcoming clash with Donna Vekic in Berlin, we are about to witness a masterclass in tactical warfare. Vekic will try to blast Eala off the court with sheer power, while Eala will use her elite court intelligence to absorb that pace and redirect it to the open spaces. It is a classic matchup of power versus precision. And let's not forget the tantalizing prospect of a second-round match against Elena Rybakina. If Eala can navigate past Vekic, a showdown with the world number 2 on grass would be the ultimate measuring stick for the Filipina star. It would be a match broadcast around the world, an opportunity for Eala to prove that she can trade blows with the absolute titans of the sport, win or lose. The experience gained from playing against a former Wimbledon champion on a fast surface will be invaluable for her development. But beyond the forehands, the backhands, the ranking points, and the tournament draws, the story of Alex Eala is ultimately a story about heart. It is about a young woman who left her home in the Philippines at a very young age to train at the Rafael Nadal Academy in Spain, sacrificing her childhood for a dream that felt impossible to most. It is about the thousands of overseas Filipino workers in England who packed the stands in Birmingham, turning a quiet English tennis club into a roaring, passionate slice of Manila. When Eala looks up into the crowd and sees a Philippine flag waving in the wind, she draws from an energy source that cannot be quantified by statistics or ranking points. She is carrying the pride of a nation, and she carries it with remarkable grace and humility. She never makes excuses. She is quick to praise her opponents, quick to thank the tournament organizers, and always takes time to acknowledge the Cababayans who support her. As we conclude this massive deep dive into the latest breaking updates surrounding Alex Eala's quest for a Wimbledon seed, I want you to truly grasp the historic nature of the moment we are witnessing. We are watching the real-time evolution of a generational talent. The next few days in Berlin will be a pressure cooker of epic proportions. Every point will feel like a match point. Every game will feel like a championship final. The cutoff date of June 22nd is a hard, unforgiving deadline, and the math is incredibly tight. But if there is one thing we have learned from watching Alexandra Eala over the years, it is that you never, ever count her out. She possesses a rare combination of lethal baseline aggression, elite defensive movement, and a tennis IQ that allows her to solve problems on the fly. Whether she walks into the All-England club as a seeded favorite or a dangerous underdog, one thing is absolutely certain. Alex Eala is ready for the main draw, and the tennis world better be ready for her. Thank you so much for joining me for this extensive, in-depth analysis of the Alex Eala Wimbledon update. We have covered the history, the math, the mechanics, and the raw emotion of her incredible journey. As the situation develops in Berlin over the coming days, we will be right here, breaking down every match, every set, and every crucial ranking point. If you want to stay completely up to date with Alex Eala's path to Wimbledon and all the biggest stories in the world of tennis, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and drop a comment down below with your predictions. Do you think Eala will secure the seed? Can she pull off the massive upset against Vekic and potentially Rybakina? Let me know your thoughts. Until next time, keep your eyes on the court, keep supporting your favorite athletes, and I will see you in the next Monumental update.